actually. That way you should have around 700 minerals, 700 gas, or 800 minerals, 800 gas. That's going to give you 8 mutas. Important also for you to make sure you've got enough overlords. So see that I've got 46 over 60 right now. That's going to give me enough for, I believe, 7 mutalisks. So I am going to be a little bit under supply, which is okay. You guys can see right now I am supply block 60 out of over 60, but I am out of minerals anyways. So I'm going to have about 7, maybe 8 mutalisks coming out, and I'm going to have more mutas on the way as well. The important thing right here is to use the Overlord to scout and see what areas are vulnerable, as well as seeing what kind of tech your opponent's going for. Notice the photon cannon there. My opponent is already prepared for mutas. Clicking the buildings just to see what else is coming out. You guys can see there is a Stargate. So it could be a Void Ray, it could be a Phoenix. It doesn't matter at this point. I've got the mutas, I've got the advantage. If you're going to invest 800 minerals and 800 gas into mutalisks, at this point in the stage, you have to do damage with it. It's absolutely critical that you do. So I am going to exploit this natural expansion. My opponent did build a Phoenix, but his cannon positioning is weak. He didn't cover his mineral line for his natural, so I can really float back and forth between the main and the natural. I can pop a cannon if I want. I can kill off this Phoenix easily. The Phoenix goes down. I do lose a mutalist to pure micro. But right now, my opponent is completely on the back foot. He's trying to chrono boost another Phoenix out, but I've got huge air advantage right now, and it's important for you to continue macroing while the battle is going on. You guys can see I'm not doing too well. I mean, I've got some units rallied at the choke, but you guys can see that I've got some extra minerals and gas. So anyways, I'm going to throw down another expansion, because while you're harassing, it's always a good idea to throw down another expansion. Also, spreading those creep tumors, great idea. And looking back on this game right now, it would have been wise for me to keep the harass up with the mutalist. But of course, that's the difficulty of Starcraft, is multitasking. You guys can see I'm already frantically trying to do as much things at once as I can, as well as making a tech switch into Hydralisks. After mutas, it's always a good idea to tech switch into Hydras, because your opponent is going to get all these fancy air units like Phoenixes, maybe even Void Rays, like you guys see here. And especially if he's got cannons, Hydralisk can bust through cannons really, really easily. So a Hydra tech switch, as well as throwing down those 2 Evo chambers right there. Gonna get that research going, and I'm gonna start pumping out tons of Hydras. You guys can see the upgrades are going right now. I'm a little bit supply blocked. My Hydralisk upgrade is going as well for range. I've still got Zerglings, who, by the way, this entire time have destroyed the backdoor rocks. So now that my Hydras are ready to go, I don't have to take the long route and try to force my way through that forge. I can actually just take the back route and go straight for the main. And so here I am, I'm just waiting for the Hydras to morph, waiting for the opportune time to attack. I know my opponent is scared. He might have even thrown up extra cannons, produced more Phoenixes, not the unit he needs to be going for right now. And he most likely doesn't know I have Hydras unless he's got an observer in my base. So you guys can see my drone count is doing really well right now. It's important for you during the entire game to make sure you continue to make those drones. Those drones primarily came from the fact that when I saw the Forge Fast expand, I just said, I'm going to mass drones. I'm going to go 2 hatch, mass drones, get the layer, and go mutas. And so here I am. I haven't really made any drones lately, and I'm still doing fine in economy. Everything's fully saturated except for this third. And now that I'm fully saturated, minus the third, I can just use all my resources and larva towards army units. So here we go. Now that I've got the Hydras, the Lings, the backdoor rocks have been busted. My opponent wisely didn't go mass Phoenixes or anything like that. He does have some ground units, but I am going to completely overwhelm him with the Hydras coming in behind as well. And he does have a Colossus, so at this point I know my opponent probably had an observer or something. He knows that I've got the Hydralisk Den out. But is it going to be enough? He's only got 1 Colossus, and he does have a couple cannons, but I'm hugely in the advantage right now. And his probe line now is going to get sacked. If my multitasking is any better, I'd be using those mutas to snipe off those probes. And so at this point, all he's got is a Colossus to defend, so I'm just going to sack my mutas to take down that Colossus. The Colossus goes down, as well as several mutas through the Phoenix, but now the Hydras are free to reign inside the enemy Protoss base. These Hydras, I believe, have all the upgrades they need to take out this force. And so this is pretty much GG for my opponent. Any Protoss player that loses an expansion is pretty much going to be a dead Protoss, especially if it's his main. So there you guys see, my opponent did leave the game. That is a victory to me, plus 36 points, which puts me into rank 16, I believe. So that is just a little basic tutorial regarding a quick 1v1, and so we're going to move on to another tutorial game shortly. So make sure to tune in for that, guys. I want to thank you guys for checking out these games, and see you guys in the StarCraft 2 BattleNet. HD, signing out.